Let me ask you something that might shake you up a little bit. What if I told you that the difference between where you are and where you want to be isn't about having more opportunity? It's about thinking differently about the opportunity you already have. See, here's what I've learned after all these years. Wealthy people don't think bigger just because they have more money. They have more money because they learned to think bigger first. That's the secret nobody wants to hear, because it puts the responsibility right back on us, doesn't it? The rich understand something most people miss entirely. You don't have to start rich to think rich. In fact, some of the wealthiest minds I've ever encountered came from nothing. Absolutely nothing. But they possessed something more valuable than inheritance or luck. They possessed a particular way of seeing the world. They saw possibilities where others saw problems. They saw investments where others saw expenses. And here's the beautiful part. This isn't mysterious. It's learnable. It's a skill, just like learning to read or drive a car. Now, wealthy people understand the power of compound growth, not just in money, but in everything. Warren Buffett calls it the snowball effect. You start with a small snowball at the top of a hill, and by the time it reaches the bottom, it's massive. But here's what stops most people. They want to start with the big snowball. They look at that tiny beginning and think, what's the point? I'll tell you what the point is. The point is that small things, done consistently, create extraordinary results. A wealthy person plants an acorn and thinks about the oak tree. A poor person wants to buy the lumber. See the difference? Let me give you a practical example. Say you've got $5. Most people think, what can $5 do? A person with a wealth mindset thinks, what can $5 start? Maybe it's a book that changes your thinking. Maybe it's the first small investment. Maybe it's buying coffee for someone who becomes a valuable connection. The rich act immediately on small opportunities because they understand that today's small action is tomorrow's big result. Here's something else the wealthy do that drives poor thinking people crazy. They delay gratification like it's an art form. They'll drive a 10-year-old car while building $1 million portfolio. They'll pack a lunch while investing the difference. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Almost too simple. But simple isn't the same as easy. See, most people have it backwards. They want to look rich now and be rich later. The wealthy understand you've got to be willing to look poor now to be rich later. It's a trade-off, and it requires something most people haven't developed: self-discipline. Ray Dalio talks about this principle in investing. Pain plus reflection equals progress. The wealthy embrace short-term discomfort for long-term gain. They ask themselves a powerful question that you should write down. Is what I'm doing today getting me closer to where I want to be tomorrow? That question will change your life if you're honest with it. Buy that new car or invest that money. Go out every weekend or build that side business. The wealthy make these choices consciously. The poor make them unconsciously, then wonder why nothing changes. Now let me tell you about something the rich do that might surprise you. They think in decades, not days. They're playing a different game than everyone else. While most people are worried about Friday's paycheck, wealthy thinkers are designing their life 10 years from now. I remember hearing about John D. Rockefeller. Here's a man who understood long-term thinking. He once said he'd rather earn 1% off 100 people's efforts than 100% of his own. That's leverage. That's thinking beyond yourself and your own two hands. The wealthy know that time is their greatest asset, not their enemy. They ask, what can I set in motion today that will pay me back for years? Maybe it's learning a skill. Maybe it's building a relationship. Maybe it's creating a system that works while they sleep. And here's what's fascinating. They start small with this too. They don't wait until they can do something big. They take whatever small action moves them toward that 10-year vision. One call, one conversation, $1 invested. They understand that direction is more important than speed. So let me bring this home with a challenge that'll test whether you're serious about changing your life or just entertaining the idea. Starting tomorrow morning, not next week, not when things settle down. Tomorrow morning, I want you to do 3 things. First, write down one big goal that scares you a little bit. That's your think big part. Then directly underneath it, write the smallest possible action you could take today toward that goal. That's your start small part. Maybe it's a 5-minute phone call. Maybe it's reading 10 pages. Maybe it's saving $5. Do that small thing before noon. Second, look at how you spent money this week and ask yourself, did I spend like I'm trying to look rich or invest like I'm trying to become rich? That question will reveal everything about your current mindset. Third, make one decision today with your 10-year future in mind, not your weekend plans. The wealthy live this way every single day, and that's why they're wealthy. Success isn't mysterious, my friend. It's simply the result of thinking bigger than your circumstances, starting smaller than your ego wants, and acting consistently like the person you're trying to become. Now go make it happen.